All right, let's take a deep dive into the Valley weather. It is Chief Meteorologist Eric Wilhelm here with Weather for Weather Geeks here on this Thursday evening, the 9th day of November, our last pretty mild day for a while. Although next week doesn't look that cold, but certainly a big-time change is coming our way over the next 24 hours or so. Made this graphic last night, and it shows that, yes, indeed, the cold is knocking on the door. And as I record this a little after 7 p.m., our cold front is just off to our north and west and is heading our way overnight. Now, we were exactly average today at 52 degrees. That's our average high on the 9th day of November. And for the month, we're still a degree above average, but that's about to change as we go through the next week. Looks like cooler than average days will outnumber warmer than average days, maybe not just for the next week, but maybe through the end of the month as well. All right, our cold front, just north and west at 7:09 this evening. Snow showers are flying up in Michigan. Rain showers most common in western New York this evening. We're not going to see much in the way of rain at all here this evening, maybe a passing shower. That is about it. There's the cold. That's a pretty impressive looking weather map for November 9th. I mean, looks more like January. Single digits and teens up near the Canadian border this evening. All right, so our showers, what there are of them, will pass by pretty quickly this evening. Now, not looking for many snow impacts overnight. A couple of passing flurries should about do it. Not expecting this to be impactful for your commute if you're out very early in the morning. But as we get into the daylight hours tomorrow, maybe around 7 o'clock, for places up near Kinsman and Greenville, over towards Sandy Lake, New Lebanon, the far northern reaches of our viewing area, this band of lake effect snow could start to reduce the visibility and cause some small accumulations in those regions. Now, by 9 o'clock in the morning, this is likely to be pretty much out of Mercer County and more so into Trumbull and Mahoning counties, and it'll continue shifting south and west as we go towards lunchtime. So, most impactful snow tomorrow will be in the morning hours. It's going to be moving. This thing isn't going to park over one spot. It's going to kind of sweep from northeast to southwest and could lead to some minor issues, I think, overall tomorrow. So here's another look at that band sweeping south and west as we go into the midday, into the afternoon. It'll be long gone by the time the evening rolls around tomorrow, and boy, is it going to be cold. I mean, lower 20s for week 2 of the high school football playoffs tomorrow, and wind chills in the teens. Clear skies, diminishing winds tomorrow night. A recipe for a very cold night. All right, the snow forecast, it could be argued we didn't even need to make a map out of this, but, in the light blue area, I haven't really changed this since last night. The areas that are most likely to get that band of snow as it pivots from east to west, you could get an inch, maybe up to 2. I can't rule that out, but for most of us, non-impactful snow tomorrow. The cold is going to be the higher impact. And speaking of the cold, the wind chills tomorrow morning already pretty nasty. Air temperatures tomorrow morning in the mid-20s, but it'll be blustery. Wind chills, lower teens as the day begins, and not much better in the afternoon. I mean, we're talking upper teens to about 20 at best. And then wind chills will retreat once again to about 10 by daybreak on Saturday. All right, so our weather impacts for your Friday, Veterans Day, observed anyway. We're talking moderate to moderately high temperature impacts. It is going to be tough to be out and about tomorrow. Thanks to the combination of the cold and the wind, the snow impacts for most of us will be fairly low. Again, watch for some reductions in visibility. Watch for perhaps some small accumulations tomorrow morning and up to the midday hours in parts of Trumbull County in particular. High pressure then overhead means a frigid night tomorrow night. Record cold. Record low tomorrow night's 21. It doesn't have a chance. We'll get down to about 16. I think there'll be a veil of high clouds Saturday. I call this milky sunshine a lot. Where, especially at this time of the year where the sun's low in the sky, it makes for kind of a dim look to things. Even though those clouds are way up there in the atmosphere, they are certainly enough to dim the sun some on Saturday. This Sunday forecast is a little bit tricky. This particular run of the model kind of has a mixed bag already in the morning. I don't think this is right. I think the rain is most likely going to hold off until the afternoon. It's probably more out here in the morning. As we get into the afternoon, the rain probably tries to push in. It's not going to be much. A bit of rain, maybe a wet snowflake at the onset, and then again as we get into Sunday night, early on Monday as well. Snow impacts will be low once again. All right, it's Thursday night. Twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays we get an update on the European model weekly outlooks. So we'll break this down by 7-day increments temperature-wise, and the theme here is definitely going to be cold. Let's skip ahead to the week of Thanksgiving. It is right here. The week centered around Thanksgiving shows cold in the east, warmth in the west. If you want a warm Thanksgiving, go to Vegas or Phoenix or Denver even. And Dallas looks pretty good. But east of the Mississippi, this looks like a pretty cold Thanksgiving. Now, this doesn't scream crazy cold or anything, but this looks like a pretty cold weather map for the time right around Thanksgiving. Now, as far as impacts, as far as precipitation and details, we're way too far out for that. That's still 2 weeks away. But it looks cold for Thanksgiving this year. Beyond Thanksgiving, the European modeling here, still has a pretty cold signal each week, all the way into December. Some of these weeks look less cold than others, but a fairly cold run of the European model here, and there was a cold run on Monday, so this is 2 in a row in which the European modeling has shown a pretty cold signal for the end of November and heading into the month of December. I mused a little bit last night about my December forecast likely needing to change as new information has become available. I think my forecast is too warm. In all fairness, I do want to show you some information that contradicts that a little bit. So this is kind of a crazy-looking series of maps here, but I'll just kind of briefly go over this. This is each run of the U.S. modeling for the month of December, the whole month, going back through the last week or so. And what I want you to take away from this is that the model's been a little bit all over the place. Let me shrink this down so you can see it a little better. Notice with each run, it has the cold in different places, it has the warm in different places. The most recent run today had a warm December, cold in Canada. Only a few runs ago, though, it had cold in the U.S. So this model's really struggling to come up with a solid idea for December. Other modeling is starting to become more consistently cold, so I think I'm going to have to make some adjustments to our December forecast. Could be cold like last December was. Remember last winter? Warm winter, right? December was actually pretty cold. Might see a repeat of that, it looks like, this year again. All right, thanks for watching tonight's weather. For Weather Geeks, will be on late tonight, so we have Thursday night football here on NBC for the rest of the regular season, which means I get less sleep on Thursday nights. All right, have a great night, everyone.